What is sensory integration disorder, also referred to as SID? So basically, SID is the inability for the nervous system to process different stimuli correctly, and it's a spectrum disorder, so that means that a person can be extremely oversensitive to all stimuli, or they can be undersensitive and not be able to experience things as acutely as other people. SID can affect all of the senses, touch, sound, taste, etc., or it can just affect one, like smell. A child with sensory integration disorder that's overresponsive, they feel everything really intensely, a lot more than other children. So they often don't like to be put into new environments with different sights, sounds, smells. Sometimes they can prefer bland foods because rich foods have too much flavor. Things like tags in the back of the shirt or loose clothing can feel like sandpaper and can be really irritating to them. But there's also children who can be underresponsive, and they're the opposite, and they often want to be touched and shown affection, and they can sometimes be impulsive and reckless because they don't feel things as like how other kids do, so they'll fall over and won't feel it, or they will run into walls just so they can like feel something, and they can also prefer foods with richer tastes and loud sounds. So, because SID is a relatively new disorder, doctors don't know too much about it, and it can often be misdiagnosed, often as ADD, ADHD, or autism. And while sensory integration disorder can be present in people with these disorders, it can also just be independent and be the only disorder a person has. So, the people who know most about SID and are able to correctly diagnose it are occupational therapists. So, one interesting thing I found about sensory integration disorder when I was doing research is that doctors don't know what causes it. Some think that it can be genetic, others believe it can be from conditions in the womb, like if the mother drank or was in some kind of accident, but people have no idea why others get sensory integration disorder. Currently, treatment for SID is pretty limited. Usually, children will have occupational therapy where they will do things like play in sensory gyms, and these gyms can have trampolines, swings, sand, bright colors, and different noises. And the main goal of sensory gyms is to teach children to become accustomed with new sights, sounds, smells, and feelings so they can be more comfortable in their daily lives. A little story that I found interesting that I read when I was doing research is that adults suffer from sensory integration disorder as well. And one adult said that he can't feel when he needs to go to the bathroom, so he has to set an alarm on his phone for every 2 hours to remind him to go to the bathroom, or else he'll have an accident, which is kind of interesting to see that this disorder stretches so far from like children to adulthood, and how people, because there isn't too much research, how they have to learn how to deal with it on their own. Some questions that I have regarding this topic are, what new treatments can help kids with sensory integration disorder, because the current only thing that they really have right now is occupational therapy? And then how can more research be done on people with sensory integration disorder so they can get new information to get better treatment?
Made with Doodlecast Pro.